Well, the policy is if the city comes in and abates your property, then you have 10 days once you receive that bill to appeal it. And if you don't pay it or appeal it, I'm hearing some noises. I'm ever vigilant. I think that's just like a nut falling from the tree. But if I don't appeal that or pay it, then it immediately gets turned over to the assessor, and the assessor adds it to my taxes, to my tax burden. And then if I'm not able to pay that next year, like for example, when they proposed coming in, they were going to spend 2 days with heavy equipment and a large crew and multiple dumpsters clearing my property, essentially scraping my property, and that would have easily come to a total, I would estimate, probably an underestimation of $20,000 a day. 2 days of $20,000, that'd be $40,000. That's essentially, I would be made homeless if that were to take place. You know, it's just, I'm a humble guy trying to improve my property, increase its value, which the city will get more tax out of me, obviously. But, you know, this is just not the way city government should be treating its patrons. There is just absolutely no way that this sort of behavior could be condoned.
So describe what they did yesterday.
Well, when they came in yesterday, they came in through the back, and immediately, as I say, they started to take items off of my truck. And I pointed out over and over again that that's not their jurisdiction. My vehicles, my trailer, that's all under the jurisdiction of the Department of Motor Vehicles. So this is Indiana. This is Indiana Department of Motor Vehicles. The city has no jurisdiction over vehicles at all. But they just went straight for the contents of my truck. And then they went after that for the contents on my trailer. And here, I'll show you the trailer. Now, they've been trying to tell me that I need to bring this wall back to this mark right here. And so I've been in the process of doing that, but they didn't bother to take all this away. I mean, they just went straight for my building materials. Outrageous. So they attempted to take away. I had wood in the round that was stacked on top of my 2x6s, or my 6x6s, and my other 2x10s right here, and they were proceeding to remove all of that. But Indiana law says that if you have building materials in your building, then as long as your materials are up off the ground, which you can see they are, and as long as they're covered by a tarp, and these are covered by metal roofing right here, salvaged off the 100-year-old garage, and I have this tarp on top, and they finally relented after a while when I explained this, but they still were calling it all garbage. I had neatly organized pieces of lath that I use for stickers and other purposes, like old-fashioned lath board, and I had organized them all on this rack, and they removed all of them and took them away. And I had outdoor lawn furniture here that they took away. They took away my kindling that was lying right here by the side, my fire pit. When they came over here to my trailer, they ripped off this cover. And then they went through and pulled out what they deemed were garbage boards, but they were prepared to take everything. It was only after I pointed out that these are boards I'm using and that they were undercover that they left. But before they left, they took out, I'm gonna say maybe like a dozen 2x12s right here along this edge and other pieces of wood, and then they just left it uncovered, a mess. So they are compromising my building materials through their actions, and when they just walk off and leave this mess, then I'm having to expend my own energy to protect my valuable assets. This is just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, I'm actively mining my own soil right here to get the gravel back. You know, but they're telling me that I can't do that. That this is illegal. That this is all garbage. They told me my screens are garbage. I had to protect one of my screens here by putting it in the car. It was stacked up here on top of blocks. You can see where the soil has been, you know, fallen through. And they were going to take away my other large 4x6 screen, and I had to wrestle that onto my truck in front because they were going to take that away. They called it garbage. I had to show them how that works, how you screen materials, but they didn't care at all. They were going to take it away no matter what, because Christopher Wheeler, the defendant for the city, has been my prosecutor the entire time I've been trying to appeal these notices of violation. And he has been maliciously prosecuting me clear up into and through yesterday, because he was here and he was the biggest proponent of stating that everything that I possess is garbage. In his eyes, everything that I possess is garbage. You know, and he's a city attorney. He's not qualified to say what is a building material and what is not. I mean, this man needs to be controlled because he is out of control, and there's for sure, I'm not the only one being harassed and abused in this way. And John Hewitt, who came and pointed out just a half day before they were coming in to abate my property back on June 26th and 7th, he came in only a half business day before that abatement and started to point out which of these items were allowable or not. And he spoke only of the things that were on the ground, the wood chips, the leaves, the compost pile in the corner, anything like that he called garbage. He said, okay, this is a building material, and this is on your truck. He said, I'm not talking about your truck, but what happens? I mean, I file a emergency preliminary injunction, which the court grants, but I lost on Thursday an appeal, which was an administrative review of my original complaint. And so my case would have moved forward on the merits, but they were able to toss it out because of an I didn't get dotted and a T didn't get crossed. And so the judge ruled yesterday morning at 4:47 in the morning. She issued this ruling which throws out my case, and then and also too allowed the city to start to come in, and lo and behold, 9 a.m. they're here ready to get me. So, and they got me. So anyway, they hauled off a bunch of stuff. They were going to haul off my towers, which are the corner posts for my structure, but I was able to get them to save those. But it's just, I'm incensed that they can do this to an individual. I am incensed. So, you know, I have to follow this through, because it's not only my life that's being affected, but obviously the entire city of Bloomington is at risk with this type of behavior coming from our city government. And it's all based on the complaints of anonymous people like the owner of this property over here, who has been using the U-Report system to file anonymous complaints against me just to harass me. And she's been doing this ever since I purchased my property 13 years ago. So this is not right. This U-report system and its anonymity must be changed. The city has a duty of care. If they get a report, then they have a duty to go and talk to the property owner with who is being complained about and ask them what's going on. But the city does not do that. They just immediately take a one-sided complaint, and they don't look and try to address both parties and look for a resolution or any kind of understanding. And I was told by John Hewitt that I have more complaints against my property than any other property owner in the entire city of Bloomington. The entire city of Bloomington. And not only that, but they are telling me that the trees in my back row here have to all be removed because there's a tree of heaven, a few trees of heaven, which I did not plant. They have grown up on their own, and they are my shelter against the Arby's parking lot. I'm trying to create on my property the antithesis of a parking lot, which is a woodland forest. This is a forest garden that I am creating. It is saving carbon. It is reducing pollution. It is what the city of Bloomington has been trying to promote. All of their citizens take part in, but unfortunately, Hand does not have any understanding of these concepts when they use Title VI, the sanitation code for the Bloomington Municipal Code, to take this nebulous title and use it to address everything on my property as garbage. And what they say, it's garbage that has been strewn throughout my property, scattered indiscriminately. I have nothing scattered indiscriminately. I have been placing everything and organizing everything that is on my property. It has a purpose and intent, but they will not listen to this. They just keep hammering home that I have scattered garbage all throughout my property. All throughout my property. So, obviously, I have appealed. I'm going to move this up into the appellate level in the court system to look at the Judge Crothy's decision, Circuit Court Judge Crothy, and as well, I'll be filing other lawsuits against the city and the U-report system and the violations and abuse that I've received from this neighbor who has been harassing me ever since I purchased my property. Because today is not the end, but it is the beginning of justice for people like you and me and everyone else who is a DIYer just trying to improve their existence here in Bloomington and to live their fullest and most peaceful life without egregious abuse coming from the city.